Okay, so concrete crack injection repair. I'm sure everyone who's got an underground parkade has gone by and seen this big unsightly cracks. Sometimes they still leave the stubs from the injection, the polymer injection. So there's two basic types of crack injection. The epoxy is used largely for hairline cracks that are structural in nature, and it's kind of it's the Ferrari of crack injection because it has to be done at relatively higher pressure. It has to be done on a dry crack, all these other wonderful things. What most people will get is a crack that's leaking on the exterior wall of a building. It's seeping in that nasty water and it leaves all the deposits, the fluorescent deposits on the side of the wall. And that's what polyurethane injection is for. So you can do really big, fat, wide cracks with polyurethane, and you can do cracks that are actively leaking you can seal with polyurethane. The point of doing all of this is to try to keep your concrete, your parquet dry, your basements dry, so that you can delay costly membrane replacement. I did a reserve fund study for a property that had two wings of the building that came at an angle, and the center had a pond on it, and the cost for digging up the pond and replacing the membrane over the parquet was something like $6 million. So anything you can do to push that back is life-saving, right? Talk a little bit about coordinating the order of repairs. Sean talked about this a little bit earlier with why would you pressure wash windows you're going to rip out. We see a lot of times where a depreciation report has been created with the intervals. The windows are at 25 years, the siding's at 30 years, so they don't try to even line these things up. So they're talking about coming in, staging, scaffolding, ripping out the windows, putting new windows in, coming back 3 years, 4 years later, ripping all the siding off, scaffolding again. Why not do these projects at the same time, minimize the pain in the butt to everyone's life, and do them in phases? So scaffold phase A and do all of it at once, scaffold, and then 3 years later do phase B. So what you can do is minimize the disruption to the owners in any one block of the building, and you get a synergy with spending your money. And this is a little bit what we're talking about, efficiency in spending your money. And then, exterior painting after you do your window upgrades, and we see a lot of times where they'll be ripping out the lobby or doing a lobby upgrade, but they just painted 2 years before. So there's a lot of synergies you got to look for and a lot of cost savings as far as lining things up in the strata. And that's why if you look at that big, huge projection you get, that 30-year projection, it can be daunting, but you should have a look at it and read through and follow and see what they're saying, because sometimes the things won't line up and they won't make any sense to you, and you can make changes. It's not written in stone. To talk a little bit about changing building materials and systems, if you've got something that's failing on you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to just put it back in. And the depreciation report, the easiest thing to do is say replace like with like and move on. A little bit of a caution here, you can't really do upgrades out of your CRF, out of your depreciation report. So if you've got lino somewhere, you can't put in Italian marble. But that doesn't mean you can't put in something that's working a lot better than that particular product that's similar. And a great example of this would be high efficiency hot water heaters versus draft units. Draft boiler is the boiler that everyone's always seen. It's got the big, huge vent that goes out the top, it goes out the roof. They are, when they are brand new, brand spanking new right out of the box, are 60% efficient at best. That efficiency goes down every year until you pull it out. They're full of scale, they don't do a very good job, and the reason why they're selected is because they are the cheapest option, period. The developer is trying to get heat in the building, draft boiler, in it goes, job's done. If you switch to high efficiency hot water heater, the lowest efficiency I've seen on a high efficiency heater is 94%, and they go up from there for pricier models. You save roughly $100,000 per 1 MBTU of heating capacity over the life of the boiler. So if you have 5 MBTUs of boiler heat in your building and you switch to high efficiency, over the life of the boiler you stand to save $500,000. So that's money that could be spent elsewhere. That comes right off of your operating budget and goes right into your CRM. And then lastly, wood balcony railings. I'm not entirely sure why people are in love with wood railings in BC where everything just rots like gangbusters, but if you're replacing wood railings every 10 years for $50 a linear foot and you change them to aluminum railings that cost you $100 a linear foot, but don't need to ever be changed. I mean, when does an aluminum railing ever need to be changed? They last forever. You can save significant money, and when you put it in the model and take that out, it shows up 3 times in the model fixing the railings. You put it in once for double the price, but it never reappears again. There's some savings there, right? So ultimately,
glass on a wood railing.
Sorry?
You can put a wine glass on a wood railing.
I don't know, put a wine glass on that railing too. Or you put the little holder thing on the side. Have you seen those? Those are pretty good. Or you get the neat thing that pulls the wine glass around your neck. Have you seen that?
You're not coming to my house.
Ultimately, the point of the last section of the report is that there's ways that you can spend a small amount of money intelligently to defer big ticket items. One of my planners told me a story about they had a property over the course of 3 years trying to find the leaks around planter boxes on the roof, and they spent 70 grand trying to fix the leaks, and then 2 years after they gave that up, they spent 110 grand to just fix the roof. So they spent 70% of the cost, the replacement cost, trying to chase these leaks down, when somebody should have told them at one point, listen, you are absolutely chasing your tail here, stop and let's just fix the roof. Because they would have saved 70K. That's the point I'm trying to drive home here. And then, because engineers and strata don't really get along very well, it's a little dig on engineers here at the end, as a laughing party shot.
So really what we've done is we've gone through, I'm going to summarize where we've gone. We've gone through, the first thing was, what is a depreciation report? Then we went on funding models, which is a really important part of depreciation reports that we keep on forgetting. And we've harped on the 5-10 year plan instead. Then we talked about the implementation plan and how you go forward. One thing I didn't mention is a great idea is just a short little document where council writes up, this is our plan. Our plan is we're going to go here because the councils may not be there next year. We had one building where all of the council moved or sold in 1 year. So we've got brand new council, and not a lot of the history was kept from them. So a little document, and everybody, you can put it in your council meeting agenda once a year. Oh, this is our plan, this is where we're going, let's review it. It's not a hard thing to do. The hardest part is starting the momentum of getting the whole process going. Really all you need to do is when your 3 year comes up, or your depreciation report, if it's being done, you gotta talk to the planner, make a plan for your strata corporation, get it passed by the owners, write a little document, this is what we're thinking, so 5 years from now, someone can pick up that paper and go, oh wow, this is what they were thinking. It's really, it's not that hard, it's just so critically important, and the result is so awesome, because what you're gonna end up with is 10 years from now, we're not gonna have this massive special levies everywhere, we're gonna have, oh, we've got the money for that, oh, maybe we're short $2,000, we have to have a special levy, but it's not the end of the world, it's not, we're ready and we're prepared for it. And we're not having astronomical strata fees now to fully fund everything.